life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. Here we will share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, verses of victory, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul, to keep you on your path of purpose and navigate this thing called life with power and authority. This is Andrea Hines, and I'm your host for When Life Speaks, here on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. I am glad you accepted the invitation to join us tonight. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it is going to be a blessing to your life, it will be to someone else as well. So share, tag, start a watch party, and invite someone you know to join us. Then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to When Life Speaks. We are very glad to have you with us tonight. You have tuned in to ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. And we are glad that you are with us tonight. I am not alone this evening. I have my co-host with me, Audra Lynette Hines. Hello, Audra. How are you?
I was waiting to see which name I was going to be.
I know.
So I was just like, let me listen out. Let me figure out who I'm going to be.
And I think I put in the post, my co-host was Lynn, and rather than Audra, but that's what I call you, and I can call you that. So I am very, very happy that you are with me this evening, as always. So how you doing today?
I am good.
Awesome. Let's see, get some housekeeping out of the way. We have from week to week here since I think March. Lynn and I have been together on the program, and we kind of opened it up to what we call our village, and that's our I was going to say frequent followers on the broadcast. They tune in regularly and they weigh in on the different topics that we have. So if you want to be part of the village and weigh in and even suggest some topics that we might want to explore, you're more than welcome to do that. You can either put that in the comment section, or you can send me an email to speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. That's speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. And we've got 4 of our friends that have weighed in for tonight. And actually, Lynn, tonight's topic, I'm going to start with you because it really came from something that you said recently. You were on one of your lives and you were talking about changing your schedule.
Yeah.
Because you said, I'm juggling a lot of things, but things aren't balancing out. So I kept thinking about this issue with juggling and balancing. So tell us a little bit about, really, when you said that, what were you thinking about?
I have an incredible amount of things that I do. One, I am an in-home daycare provider for 4 children and an infant. All 4 of my children turn 2. 1 in May, 1 in June, 1 in July, and 1 in August. So they all turn 2 a month apart from each other. So their personalities are, some days we have good days and some days they are not. But they're little people. And so I get up, for me, to prepare I try not to plan it so much because I'm never really sure how the day is going to flow. So I try to be what I call prepared as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to planning, because I can't really plan for this happening at 9, this happen, because they're little and they're not, their attention
Right.
span is that of this big. So, but for me, there's certain things I need to do for myself
Mm-hmm.
in order to be mentally prepared for them. My first child gets here at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
So my first alarm goes off at 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
So
I,
I
no-
am
I
usually
noticed you say your first
my
alarm.
first alarm, because I am one of those people, I can't wake up immediately and start moving. I have to like
Right.
gradually. So yeah, my first alarm goes off at 4:30, but I am usually up about 5:30 every day. So by the time 5:30 p.m. comes, I'm already up 12 hours. So add in the additional things that I want to do for myself. Add in my lives with paparazzi, add in my honeybee society, add in the lives that we're doing here, add in anything extra, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm running thin.
Yeah.
I run thin. So I found out for me that, and then I have something that I started doing on Sunday, and I had to literally ask, is this every Sunday? You want
Mm-hmm.
me to do this every Sunday? Because that's not really what I signed up to do, was every Sunday. And I discovered for me that I don't do a really good job of taking care of me.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things I like to do, but they require me to do.
And you
And
have school.
mhm, yeah, school just
Periodically,
ended.
you have school. Mm-hmm.
School just ended last Monday before last. So Monday, yeah, this Monday was the actual absolute first Monday that I hadn't had a class. So yeah, so on top of the daycare, I had a class that I was taking that I had to be on at 6:30 that ended at 8:30. And I have to do homework for that class every night. So Sunday, or when I got ready to do the live on Monday, I realized that on Sunday I felt like I was juggling my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't balanced. And I realized there's such a difference between juggling and balance. And I had to look at all of the things that I've said yes to make a decision as to whether or not it was necessary for me to have to do it. And just because I said yes then, the yes then does not mean that that yes still is necessary now. So I have to look at what I'm doing, and it has to balance, because if I feel like I am always constantly doing, while I like doing, there's no time for me.
Right.
I have not
Right.
taken any time for me. And this weekend was probably the first weekend, other than going to church on Sunday, that I literally did something for myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We went to breakfast. I went and picked some things up at Target. I decided I was going to go to the movies. I was going to come back. I was going to do another live. And I realized, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to set up for it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do it. And I didn't, because I was enjoying the relaxation of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized, I don't remember when I did that. Self-care is more than just taking a bubble bath.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Self-care is more than that. And I had to realize that I have spent a lot of my time juggling. The planner's always out because there's something going on
All the
every
time.
day, all the time. I have to be here, got to do this, got to do that. Nope, nope, nope. You overbooked yourself. Something's going to
Right.
juggling,
Right.
constantly juggling my life. And I that juggle versus balance, I was like, I need that. I want that. It's okay to have this, but
Peaks
I'm
and
looking for
valleys.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking for this right now. So yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
let me welcome some listeners that we've got on the line. We've got our West Coast connection, Pastor Gloria Kennedy. Good evening, Gloria, and thank you for being with us tonight. Francina is on the line. Linda Cooks is on the line, and our South Carolina connection, Angela Oliphant is also on the line. And I want to go into now, Lynn, some of the responses that we got
Mhm.
from the village, because everybody had a little twist
Mhm.
on this thing about juggling and balance.
Mhm.
Um, Balance is a part of juggling if you
Right.
look at the dictionary definition.
Mhm.
But also, a lot of times you think about juggling as just simply doing more than one thing at a time, having, things that you have to do, and you have to try to figure out how to keep all the balls up in the air.
Yes. Mhm.
A lot of times we think of it as multitasking,
Mhm.
but is it really?
Right. Mhm.
Multitasking, same thing. I'm going to do more than one thing at
Mhm.
the same time.
Right.
So let me tell you what Charles Durant said. Charles said, on his perspective of juggling and balance, that juggling, you have committed yourself to a multitude of duties
Mhm.
that you cannot equally fulfill your obligations to them, and disappointment then sets in. And he
Mhm.
was giving the scenario when you have something to do for your family, and
Mhm.
then you have something to do for your wife, and then you
Mhm.
have something to do for your church, and you're trying to keep all three of those things going at the same time and give
Mhm.
all three of them your best. And he said juggling all three can be a task by itself,
Mhm.
but more so when all three need you
Once.
at
Mhm.
once. And I
Yes.
thought that was interesting, because
Mhm.
that the juggling, that's all going on. That is like
Yes.
the multitasking. That's all going on at the same time.
Mhm.
But he said balance is a lot more manageable,
Yeah.
equally dividing time
Mhm.
amongst the things that you have to do.
Mhm.
He said to successfully create a balance in your life and lifestyle, you have to put a stop to the juggling
Yes.
of everyone else's problems, situations,
Mhm.
and circumstances.
Right.
And so often we take on the demands of those people
Yes.
around us and make that a part of our toolkit, if you will, or
Yes.
one of the balls that we have to put up in the
Mhm.
air, when it really is not ours.
Mhm.
We don't own that. It doesn't belong to us,
Exactly.
but we have accepted it and made it a
Exactly.
part of what we're doing, what we think we're doing anyway.
Right.
Angie said, and this was soft and sweet. Angie said, juggling, hands full,
Mhm.
rhythm, no specific point of concentration.
Mhm.
Balancing, still hands full, but with organization and
Yes.
focus.
Right.
With
Where's
organization
the
and
button that you can push? Like on the radio, they have like the button you can push where the applause comes in.
focus.
Where's that button that we can get? Because those were two very good points.
Hmm.
Those were two very good points.
Yep, yep.
Good points. Hmm.
Yeah, and Angie also said, when I think of juggling, I see a juggler having multiple objects flying in the air and trying to focus on all of those things at
Hmm.
once to make sure nothing falls.
Hmm.
And I think that is another primary difference when you look
Yes.
at juggling and when you look at balance. Are
Yes.
your hands full? Yes, your hands are full.
Hmm.
But when you have balance with that and you have given equal attention to everything, the falling, if you
Hmm.
will, is
Hmm.
not as prevalent.
Right.
But when you're trying to keep everything going, you're going to miss something.
Yes.
And when you miss that something, that's when, like Charles said, disappointment sets in.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
you don't know which way to go with it.
Hmm.
You want to comment on that, Lynn? Or you want me to go on?
No, I do. I do want to go back to something Charles said, because I think it is very interesting that he used the family kind of dynamic, and
Mm-hmm.
think it's also interesting is that he brought up the fact that we are trying to juggle the things that not aren't necessarily ours.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine trying to juggle that and adding in your personal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot of things. And if you look at that and use the same metaphor that the South Carolina connection is given, that is a lot of balls being
Yeah.
tossed up at a rhythm to try and to juggle. There is a rhythm. I mean, you
There
just
is.
not willy
Yes,
nilly throwing
absolutely.
one up.
Hmm.
It is a rhythm,
Hmm.
and you've got to keep that same syncopated beat in order, even when there's another ball thrown in, it still has to keep that same rhythm. But it's like you said, one false move, and those balls don't always stay up.
That's right.
They
That's right.
start tumbling, they start crashing.
Right.
And but again, and when you talk about that, or when I mention that, when we start juggling too much, the thing that first starts crashing is our mental state, our physical state.
Absolutely.
And those are things we have to consider. You have to take those things into consideration. That's
Hmm.
why balance to me right now is so important. Got to get some balance.
Got to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Pastor Gloria out there in West Coast said juggling seems to denote lack of harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Balance seems to denote harmony.
Mm-hmm.
In our lives, we must be careful. We must be careful to take the time to identify which one is pushing us.
Yes.
Juggling appears to always be rushing or trying to make things fit.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Balance says one is not hurried and things seem to be effortless.
Yeah.
I do see that. With
Yeah.
balance, things are
Yeah.
effortless
I see
because
that.
that focus is there and you've got things, you have figured it out. I think with juggling, sometimes when I think of juggling, I always think of the unexpected
Yeah.
also.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't plan for it, but it's there and you have to do something about
Mm-hmm.
it and you have to do something with it. So you try to handle it, you
Yeah.
try to deal with it, you try to fit it all in and not have it be at the expense of anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But when you've got that balance, I believe the balance is premeditated. And I think
Yeah.
balance has to be intentional with all of
Mm-hmm.
the things to make sure that you're giving the equal time and the equal focus to whatever it is that you think you need to
Mm-hmm.
do in order to give everything the time that it
Needs.
needs.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
agree.
Now, Fran said, Francina said this is something she's working on now. She's a work in progress. Francina, I hear you because I think we've all done that. She said juggling, trying to manage, focus, concentrate, and accommodate on different tasks, goals, going from one to the other,
Mm-hmm.
one ball up in the air, the other up
Mm-hmm.
in the air, some having to take a back seat, and it can become overwhelming
Yeah.
at times. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the key when you know that things are out of balance.
Yes.
When there are
The
things that
overwhelming.
overwhelming, that
Yes.
overwhelming feeling. And you and I did a show a long time ago about running on empty.
Yeah.
When you are just depleted because
Mm-hmm.
you have attempted to keep all these balls up in the
Yes.
air, to keep
Mm-hmm.
all these issues on point, and
Mm-hmm.
be able to fulfill whatever
All of
each
them.
one of those
Mm-hmm.
things require.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then she said that balance comes in so everything can be in sync. It requires patience, practice, not beating up on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I've had to stop and take a break and get a breather in, knowing I want to be proficient and complete
Mm-hmm.
each task.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing that I wanted to bring out that she says, I must not get so bogged down that I don't take some time for me. You got to
Mm-hmm.
have your me time.
Yes.
I want to remain refreshed and level headed for clear direction so I
Mm-hmm.
can fulfill my assignments in a timely
Right.
manner.
Mm-hmm.
So we've looked at the balance, we've looked at the juggling, we've talked about those things that, keep things going up in the air and
Mm-hmm.
things that we think are multitasking,
Mm-hmm.
which sometimes is just more confusion than it needs to be
Mm-hmm.
because as you said, Lynn, all of those assignments that you take on are not yours.
Exactly.
They are maybe a part of what you're assigned to do and called to do,
Mm-hmm.
but you are not responsible for the
Mm-hmm.
outcome of all of those things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we take them on. So I was thinking to myself, and those who are on the line, feel free to comment on these things. But we'll talk a lot about self-care. We talk
Mm-hmm.
about work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about those things, but what are some of the things that we need in order to discover what is balance for us?
Yeah.
Because we were just at we were listening to a speaker last week who talked about um, 8 areas for your self-care and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. We talked about spiritual and family and emotional and
Mm-hmm.
all of those things. And to me, those are balls that you label
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that you are keeping going. But mine for emotional may not carry the same weight
Right.
as
That's
yours.
somebody else's. Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that would make a difference in
Mm-hmm.
what is balanced for me.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, I think that most of us have is we don't build in time for what Francina was talking about. We don't build in that me time
Right.
on our balance wheel.
Right.
A lot of times we think about all the things we do for ministry and church and
Yep.
family and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't build in that time for ourselves.
Right.
So I think number one, I think one of the first things that we have to do, and I know it sounds cliche, but we need to seek the Father
Yep.
because he ultimately knows
Mm-hmm.
exactly what our plan is or
Mm-hmm.
the plan that he has for
Mm-hmm.
us. And the balance that we're going to get is based upon what that plan is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your balance and all today may be different from what it is tomorrow because your
Exactly.
assignment today
It's
may be different
different.
than what it was
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's one of the first things that we have to do is seek his face and know the direction
Mm-hmm.
that he wants to go,
Right.
have us go in. What's
Mm-hmm.
another thing, Lynn, that you think we need to deal with on that?
For me, I agree with the time with God, because that's what I need first thing in the morning. That is, I have my moment in the morning for myself, and it's a routine for me, but it's a routine that works for me. It's a routine that I need because I can't just get up and start receiving children. I need a moment for
Mm-hmm.
myself. I need a moment to gather my thoughts. I need a moment to think
Mm-hmm.
about the day, what's going on, who's coming in, what I need to do that day. And for me, I have a calendar and I have a planner
Mm-hmm.
because those are the things for me that help me to stay balanced because I don't like it when I forget, you
Yeah.
know, because sometimes you'll say yes to something and I was good at doing that. I would say yes and then be like, oh, something's happening on
Conflict.
that
Yeah.
day. So
Mm-hmm.
I literally, my calendar, of course, I have the days that the kids are going to be here. So I'll know how many children on what day I have. And I fit the other things around that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, okay, you fit the other things around that. Now you've got some more stuff around
Mm-hmm.
that. And now you got more stuff around that. And then it was kind of like, okay, something's going to have to give. Some things you can't control. Some things I know I cannot get rid of. But I don't have to do everything.
Right.
And that's where I had to realize, okay, I want to participate, but there's nothing that said I have to participate every day.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing that says I have to participate. Just because you're on does not necessarily mean I have to be a part of it or that
Right.
I can be a part of it. And if I cannot be a part of it, I'm okay if you're not okay.
Yes. Now that's interesting. That's interesting.
I'm
I'm okay if
okay
you're
if you're
not
not
okay.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's like you said, that's your issue. It's not mine.
Right.
So I can't take on the weight of, granted, yes, okay, God may have called you and told you he wanted you to do this, that, and the other. And I can tell you, oh, I think that is a wonderful idea. Go for it. But nowhere in that did I say that I was going to take on the task of that. That's not what
Yeah.
I said. That's not. So I'm okay if you need me to help you on a particular day. And if I say, yes, I can help you on that particular day, don't hold me accountable for the next 35 days because that's not what I gave you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I have to realize that some people hear what they want to hear. And then I have to go back and I said, that's not what I said. This is what I can give you. But when we were talking, now I never said that I could do that. And I have to be okay with the fact that you're upset, and that's fine. But I have to be okay with the fact that I have to set my boundaries.
And it also says clarity in communication.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we think we are saying one thing, but the individual is hearing something else.
Totally different.
So
Yeah.
we
Mm-hmm.
always go back to saying, okay, let me make sure that we're on the same page, or
Mm-hmm.
let me make sure that I've said this clearly,
Right.
so we know exactly where we
Mm-hmm.
are.
Mm-hmm.
Carmen came in. Hey there, Carmen. And Carmen said, the morning is goodness.
Mm-hmm.
New day equal new direction. And that
Mm-hmm.
is so true. And a lot of times we don't go back to get that new direction
Right.
from. We are
Mm-hmm.
working on the last thing that we heard when
Mm-hmm.
he's got a new thing that he is trying to tell us. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's so important that we seek his face on a daily basis. And
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Gloria said, consider this: God made us a person. He once reminded me that I was not expected to be a pack animal like a mule.
Mm-hmm.
He wants us to be intimate with him, and we need to see ourselves as he sees us. Me time says time with him, and time to treat me as special as he does.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good, Gloria.
Very
Very
good.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And I want to talk about something else that I think needs to be on our list of how we manage to get the balance that we say we want. And that is that we need to know how to prioritize.
Yes.
And the second part of that, we need to know how to stick to the plan.
Yep.
I was listening to you talk about your planner and talk about your to-dos and the things that you have to do, and looking
Mm-hmm.
at those list of things. I find sometimes I have been busy, and I mean flat out busy, from the time I got up in the morning, which like you is 4:30, 5 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
until I go to bed, which is
Mm-hmm.
sometimes 11:30, 12 o'clock. I mean, just busy,
Yep.
busy, busy. But I look at my list of things to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I have not done half
Mm-hmm.
of what was on my list. And I'm looking and thinking, okay, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Where did my time go? And one of the things that happened is when I got up, number one, I did not carefully review my list
Mm-hmm.
and sort through what was nice
Mm-hmm.
versus what was necessary,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and get the timing correct into what
Mm-hmm.
I really needed to do right then,
Mm-hmm.
and what I could put off, not in terms of procrastination, but put off in terms of timing. It's
Mm-hmm.
like there are a couple of newsletters that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If one is due on the 15th, so let's say it's the 10th of the month, and one is due on the 15th, and the other one is due at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be working on the one that's due on the end of the month
Right.
right now. Do
Mm-hmm.
I have to get it done? Yeah, I have to
Yeah.
get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But I can get it done within the time frame and the
Mm-hmm.
timing
Mm-hmm.
of when it's actually due.
Right.
And here comes the nice. I pass by the table and I say, oh, those are some earrings that I needed to convert. Now, that is a comforting thing for me. That's a take your mind off all the other things that
Mm-hmm.
are going on, and refocus and sit and do this,
Mm-hmm.
because it's relaxing. It's
Mm-hmm.
relaxing. Well, that wasn't my time period to relax.
Right.
That
Right.
was my time period to prepare something else, or to write the book I had to write, or to do those other things. So we have to be honest with ourselves. And I think Gloria mentioned something in here about juggling seems to denote lack of harmony or dishonesty. We have to be honest with ourselves
Mm-hmm.
in terms of where our time is going,
Right.
what we're actually doing with it,
But
what
isn't
we
it
cut
interesting
out,
that
what you
I'm
can keep.
sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it's interesting is sometimes that we can be so busy but haven't accomplished anything.
Yeah.
But you're busy.
Mm-hmm.
But you haven't finished one thing. Now, I'm gonna say something about my mama.
Uh-oh.
My mom gets in this thing where she's going to clean. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it is so funny because when we were living together, I would leave and I would come back and I would just stand there and would be like, what happened? And she would, I started doing this and I started doing that. And then when I went upstairs, I started doing this. And then I saw that. And there was just a path of, I'm not going to say of mass destruction, but there was a path of where she would start something. Nothing was completed. But she would get so distracted. And then she would tell me, like, but I promise you, I'm going to clean it up. And it's just like, but that's what you've been doing all day. But it's like that, you know. Sometimes you just start doing things and you get distracted. And then it's just like, you know, okay. But you find yourself doing those things that bring a relaxation to you. You know, I've been trying to, as you said, I've been doing paparazzi. I've been trying to reorganize my boards for 2 weeks now. While I find it relaxing, that is by far the most time-consuming process. I still haven't gotten it done. And I've started it, and it's just like, no, this is taking way too much time. So, and it's still not done.
But you know, when you're talking about that, distractions are something that can very easily take you out of balance, because you find yourself using that time that you could have been doing the things on your list, or the things that are in your journal, or the tasks that you have been assigned. And I find also that sometimes I need to time those things. I need to almost make appointments with myself. I need to make appointments for those tasks, because I can easily sit down to write one thing and end up working on 3 different writing projects. And 4 or 5 hours have gone by, and I haven't gotten to any of the other things that I needed to do. So I have to think about the things that are going to end up overwhelming me. Whenever I feel that tug of being overwhelmed, that's when I've got to stop. I've got to look at what's nice versus necessary. I've got to look at what my priorities are, and I have to readjust. And it's not about going from moving the task from today to tomorrow to the next day to the next day. When I worked at IBM, one of the trainings that we had as secretaries and administrative assistants was, if you touch the same piece of paper 3 times, you're out of control. Somewhere in there, something's got to finish. We have to have the spirit of a finisher. We have to complete the task. And sometimes I'll start doing something like that distraction we were talking about. I'll start doing something, and right in the middle of it, I'll go, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing right now. This is going to take more time than it has to. And then there are other times I have to set my alarm, because if I say I'm going to work on this for an hour, I'm going to work on this for 2 hours, and then get up and move, because that's part of what I need to do to keep myself healthy, keep myself moving, then I've got to pay attention to that. And no matter where I am in that task, I will stop at that particular time and go to the next thing. Now, I don't look at that as not having finished. I look at that as being wise in my time management as to what I'm going to do. Yes, thank you, Cheryl Brady, spirit of a finisher. That's right, Carmen. We've learned that lesson well. And Gloria had, in training to teach home Bible study, to prepare to do a to-do list. to only put 3 items on the list. Okay, put 3 items on the list. Once they are done, then write down the next 3. Oh, that's good. Okay.
Mhm.
It worked while I was taking the class, and it works now
Mhm.
when I use it. So I think what you're saying is don't overcommit,
Mhm.
don't over prioritize, don't overdo and having a
Yes.
list so long that it's unrealistic for
Mhm.
you to be able to complete it.
Right.
For instance, have some
Some
accountability.
accountability.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, 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 yes. And sometimes, Francina, when it is a big project,
Yes.
you can use those accountability partners
Mhm.
to help you maintain your balance,
Right. Mhm.
maintain your balance. Because whenever there's something wrong, when you start to do a task and 5 days later you're still starting to do that task,
Whew.
either it's not what you're supposed to be doing right then, or you need to discover what is getting in the
The
way,
way. Mhm.
keeping you from doing what you need to do and making it happen.
Mhm.
Making it happen. Some of the things that are, let me go back a minute.
Mhm.
Something that we cannot forget, and it's out there on the wellness wheel of everybody,
Mhm.
uh, is self-care and self-care. And I am all for that. I agree with that. I think we have to figure
Yes.
out a way to remain healthy. But one of the things that I am dealing with, and Francine and I were talking about it recently,
Mhm.
was building in, and I know it sounds strange, but building in time to rest.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
don't do that enough. Most of the time, we just don't do it enough. When I was younger, I could exist on 2, 3 hours sleep. I
Woo.
could get up, I could go, I could feel refreshed, I could keep moving, I could
I
do
swear,
what
I
I
think
needed
I
to
was
do.
doing that my best work. I think I was doing some of my best work because seriously, though, when I look back and I think about it, excuse me, sorry, I did that.
Mhm.
I had that where we would run and run and run, get up, go to work, not have a lot of sleep, do it again. Now, I wish I would. I cannot. You can't
And
do it.
we need to know that. We need
Yes.
to own that, and we need to
Yes.
do something about it. Let me tell you 2 things that happened to me years and years ago. I was on a lot of medication.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that uh, Gloria says, if you don't rest, your body will shut down because it has sense enough to rest. Okay,
Right.
Pastor Gloria, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but one of the things that I was taking was iron pills,
Mm-hmm.
and I had taken them for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I switched doctors. And when I switched doctors, they always ask you, what kind of medications are you on?
Uh-huh.
And I told him that I was on these iron pills. And he said, why? And I said, because I don't have any energy,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm tired all the time. And he looked at me and said, if you're tired, go to bed. And I thought, what?
Well.
I didn't come in here for you to tell me to go to bed. But you know what? He didn't prescribe them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped taking them,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing changed.
I
Nothing
think.
changed in
I
my life. I
think.
thought, why have I been taking this medication? I needed. I just needed some rest. That's all
I
I
think
needed.
for me, in my younger years, not that I'm older, but
You need some water?
no, I was just in my younger years. I'm thinking younger as in like last year. Um, I thought that I was really accomplishing something. And I don't think accomplishing is really the word I'm looking for, but I really thought I was doing something if I was super busy.
Hmm.
Because it seemed like to me, super busy people were important. Super
Hmm.
busy people were, they were on the move. They were the money makers. No, I don't want to be that important at this stage in my life. I'm good. You don't have to call on me. I'm really at that point in my life that, yes, I want to go to bed. And I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. And I'm
Hmm.
okay with that because I had my daughter actually laughing at me. I've been watching the same movie. I finally finished it last night,
Did you
but
fall asleep on it?
I've been watching the same movie since Sunday. 'Cause every time I turned it on, I was falling asleep. I finally finished, and it was only an hour and a half. That's the sad part. The movie was only an hour and a half, and it took me till last night to finish it. And I finally finished it, and I was like, "Oh, that was good." But it took. Started watching it Sunday. It wasn't even a series. It was just one movie. But it took me. I never really realized sometimes how tired I am until I stop.
Yes. Yes.
Until I stop.
Yes.
As long as I'm moving, I'm okay. But I have gotten to the point. It's literally sometimes 8 o'clock. It's a long day. I can't. And people laugh at me because sometimes they'll call, and I'll have my sleep bonnet on and the covers pulled awfully tight. And because I'm telling you, if you leave me alone for about 5 minutes, and I'm out. I'm out. And I'm okay with that. Carmen's laughing. No, the movie wasn't bad. It was actually a good movie. I couldn't keep my eyes open and never lay down to watch a movie. That may have been the wrong thing to do because I had my shower. I had gotten under the covers because I was a little chilly. I shouldn't have done that. And I don't really want to tell on myself that how many times I restarted the movie on Sunday because it ended, and I would restart it and wake up and it would be over, and I would restart it all in the same day. And I got to the point, we'll just try to get on Monday. Did the same thing Monday. I literally just finished it. When I looked at it and realized it was only an hour and a half, I thought, this is really sad. This is really sad. You can't complete a 90-minute movie.
Let me tell you something else that I don't remember now who talked about accountability, being accountable and all, but
Francina.
One thing that we have to admit is that we're growing older every day. Everybody is. Everybody listening, those of us chatting, we're all growing older. And as we age, everybody, ooh, that's a horrible word, aging, But if you're blessed, you're gonna do that.
Yes.
And as you are aging, things change. Like we were saying, I need more sleep now than I did before. I can't go as fast as I did before.
Right.
I can't, I don't balance the same things in the same way as I did before. And we have to be careful and know that because I didn't put you on the balance wheel for today, does not mean I have forgotten, and does not mean there's no intent to get it done. It's just like the way God deals with us. There may not be something that he gives us guidance and direction for today, but it doesn't mean that he's forgotten. Doesn't mean that it's no longer a part of the plan. It doesn't mean that it's not going to come to play as part of his precious promises, because he is a faithful God. And if he said it, it is going to come to pass. But there are some things that need to change and be changed within us that will take us to a different place, will lay things out in a different way, and will help us to accomplish the things that we need to accomplish without stress, without drama, without feeling overwhelmed, and without getting to that point where we want to throw up our hands and do nothing, because the things that we have to do have now become so overwhelming that we don't know what to do.
Right.
And we end up doing nothing, and we end up quitting prematurely. And walking away sometimes from the very thing that God has for us, because we've gotten to a place where we're out of balance. And when you get out of balance, you also get out of control. You're out of throat,
Hmm.
you know. So I don't have my, let's see here. Oh, we right on time, right on
Hmm.
time. Look, I hope this was good for you guys tonight. It was good for us. We always discover things when we
Hmm.
get together and we have a topic, a particular topic. I thank you guys for weighing in, and I thank you for putting your comments up, because anytime that we do that, we are able to help one another to be strengthened, to be encouraged, and to be empowered to do greater works. And that's
Yes.
what God wants us to do.
Yes.
So I thank you for being with me tonight and with Audra tonight. Thank you, Audra. Thank you, Audra, for being a part of the program. Really
I'm gonna
do.
sign in next week as Sally.
No, if you're not Audra or Lynn, we're all in trouble. So just keep one of the two. We know to Carmen and Angie and Gloria and Francina. Thank you, guys. Thank you for always being with us and for being able to weigh in. We thank Charles. Charles doesn't get to come on, but we sure thank him for being a part of what we do here at When Life Speaks. So we'll be here next week at 7 p.m. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I know it's going to be good, because God is good and He's good to
Yes.
us. So I thank you for being here, and come back next week. And when you come ready to receive,
Yes.
so that when life speaks, you'll
So
speak
speak
life.
life.
Hallelujah.
Good night.
Amen. Good night, everyone.
Good night.